Hi, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We are super excited to jump into this discussion. We're going to be talking about why it's important to adopt new estimating technology to stay competitive in pre-construction. And I have here with me today Taimoor Khan from ERDMAN. Taimoor, thanks so much for joining us and agreeing to talk. Without further ado, I'll hand it over to you. If you want to just give us a little bit of background about yourself and kind of the relationship that you have with Beck Technology.
Yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. I've been working in pre-construction for over 16 years now, and I have known Beck Technology for over a decade now. I remember my journey started with DESTINI Profiler. It was a conceptual estimating program, and it was it's still today I use it for all the conceptual estimating, and I still love it. And it changed the way people perceive the conceptual estimating. It improved the understanding, the communication for the overall conceptual estimating process, where you do not have any drawings, detailed information, but you're still able to produce a lot of information and bring clarity for the clients to make their important decisions. And then, of course, back in 2015, when Beck Technology released their first version of DESTINI Estimator, I got the free license for a year to use and play with it, and gonna give them feedback for further development. So I was very engaged from the beginning of the development of a DESTINI Estimator, and I tried to provide as much as feedback as I could that what as an ideal estimating software should include in the next generation estimating software. And Beck did a pretty good job in taking, not only from me, of course, from all other customers too. They developed a lot of these ideas and implemented an estimator. And as the time when passed on, they keep developing all those things in their estimating software.
That's awesome. So, obviously, you've known us for a long time, been around the block with us. Um, what, what was it like kind of realizing the need for that updated technology? I mean, can you kind of talk a little bit to what made you want to put why did Beck Tech, why did they come to you to play with that technology? And then were there people on your team that also realized that need to start upgrading tools?
So I was always a technology lover from the beginning of my career, and I always enjoyed implementation of technology to not only just for the sake of it, but to improve the efficiency. Because right now we are in a fast-paced business environment where you have to deal with a lot of information on daily basis, and you have to produce information pretty quickly, turn around based on the business needs. So you have to be efficient. If you're using a decade older, a couple decade older process or estimating software, you're not going to be able to the needs of businesses today. So just like when people did not have calculators, they would count things on paper, or and it would take them long. But then calculators, the thing that would take them an hour, they could do it in minutes. So basically, how you implement technology to make your life easier, make you more efficient, and also improve the quality of deliverables, improve the communication. This whole thing, the whole experience or the phase of pre-construction, or even the construction, the phase of the project too, how you improve the communication, the collaboration. So that's why the technology helps in bringing people together. If it's a designer, if it's a client, all the stakeholders on the same page. So.
Awesome, Taimoor. So you've moved around to a couple different companies since we've known you, and you've actually brought Estimator to some of these companies that you've joined. You've been a really great champion for us. What is it about Estimator? What results are you seeing? What efficiencies are you seeing with Estimator that has made you want to take it to these different companies that you've been a part of?
So as much as I enjoy the technology used by myself, I also like to bring and share the knowledge to my other colleagues and partners, and any other people in the industry who are in the pre-construction industry. I like to help them use these tools so they can improve their process too. Um, Being a leader, it's always important to have a clear vision why you are implementing the technology, because the people who follow you or the people that you have some influence with, they always look up to you to bring a vision first. When you are clear on your vision and how this technology implementation can improve the things the way they're doing right now, then you get the buy-in from them. Once you get their buy-in, then it's easier to implement it. Because of course, change is not easy. Innovation is not easy. Innovation takes time, and also the energy and the awkwardness. And the innovation, the biggest challenge with innovation is that the innovation and the efficiency don't go parallel. So whenever you're trying to innovate, when you're trying to change the way you've been doing things for the last 10, 20 years, you slow down, so the efficiency go down. So a lot of people, the reason of that awkwardness or going of that efficiency slowing down, that's where they hesitate to make a change. But that's why they need leaders or people who can really take them through this whole process, and through this change process, and you get them comfortable. But again, defining the value, and have a clear vision really helps people understand, and then you get their buy-in. Once you get their buy-in, then you can really take them along with you on this journey of the innovation and the change.
So you said that innovation can be hard. It can be kind of growing pains, and you made the excellent point of change is always going to be difficult. Like you said, when you've been doing something a certain way for years, you can't just flip that switch overnight.
Yes.
But obviously, you've found that change and innovation is worth it. What are some of the things, like what are some of the benefits that you've seen from change and innovation? Like, have you been able to save some hours doing an estimate, or leave the office earlier, or communicate better with stakeholders?
Yes, so there's two aspects to it when it comes to change, right? One is the users buy-in who actually will be using this technology, and then also the buy-in from the company or the organization or the management who will be investing into the technology, because they like to see what is their return on their investment. So that you have to have a clear business need, and you also have to really have a real value proposition based on how much efficiency that you are gaining by investing that much money. So I did some calculation, and let's say, for example, with our previous estimating process or software, where we were using multiple different software for takeoff and also for estimating. If a typical estimate will take 2 to 3 weeks, now we have cut down the time to maybe 1.5 to 2 weeks. So as you get efficient and get more practice, of course, with the software, you get even more efficient. But even at the starting, we cut down at least 30%. And as my team got better and better with it, we were able to cut down at least 50% time. So you're saving 50% time. That 50% time you can give to another estimate. So again, overall, you are doubling the volume that you can estimate in a year. So
That's incredible. No, thank you for that, Taimoor. It was really helpful. Um, you talked about the the importance of having this clear vision, right? You talked about you as a business leader coming in and helping set, clear standards, clear vision as to why certain things need to change or need to happen. What advice would you give to someone who is kind of trying to convince their team why pre-construction standards are important? Why is it important to have, standardized processes and methods of doing things in pre-con?
So one of the things that I noticed during my career, even when I started as an estimator, everything was very disorganized. So Let's say if we started with some people use Excel spreadsheets for estimating, and they have these estimates done and they are saved in folders, and those folders are saved somewhere on the network drive. And usually when you are maybe trying to use that same estimate for maybe future benchmarking, or there's another project that is similar, you want to look at the data, it is really hard to go and find out that specific estimate, especially if you are not the owner of that estimate. If somebody else did estimate, you don't know where exactly that is. So either you will lose it, and also when people leave the company, or maybe they're not no longer with the organization, their work is no longer it's hard to find that, right? So that's why the data organization, which, just because data is the key for from historical point of view for benchmarking, but also help you improve your overall quality of your estimates too for the future. So the data organization, and also everything in under the same suite, it was, there's different tools available for doing takeoffs or doing a project cost history and doing an estimate. But when you're using multiple tools, your information is all spread it out. So we wanted one seamless process, and also one suite where from the whole project lifecycle data is staying within the same database, where you can pull it out easily for any phase of the project. So that was the key, and also communication, visualization of the estimates. Um, in the previous decade that I have noticed, typically the estimates were presented more in a paper format, where the clients get a 30-40 page estimate and they have to figure out what those numbers are. Now with the newer technologies, the communication is and visualization is so improved that you can sit down and walk them through the whole estimate, how the information is produced, and sit down with the designer and solve problems proactively right on spot, versus just wait for the problems to arise later.
That's amazing. No, that's incredible, Taimoor, and appreciate that. I kind of want to take like a quick step back and touch on a related topic. You know, you brought on this new software to a few different teams at this point. How did you handle hesitancy or pushback? You talked about getting buy-in from the people that are going to make the final decision on the software. So when you had people saying, well, it's going to take so much time, it's going to take so much of our resources, we already have processes that are good enough for right now. How did you handle that?
So you always lead by example. So you have to show you can't just preach the talk, you have to walk the talk. So what I always did was I always sat down with them and asked them, okay, how are you doing things currently? And how long does it take you to, do a takeoff and put this information, or how are you producing the information, or what do your deliverables look like? And then I say, okay, now let me show you the way I do it, or what do you think about this? And then they clearly see the people who are open-minded, they are very quickly able to see the value it brings to the table with the change. And that not only makes their life easier, but also improves the quality of their estimates too. They can spend more time with their family than spending long hours over the weekend to finish an estimate, right? So the quality of their life and quality of estimates improve at the same time. Plus, also, the more skills that you add to your resume, it makes you more valuable for your organization and for even outside the business world too. So you're not only improving yourself, but also improving your chances and growth opportunities yourself too. So again, you have to convince them what's there for them. And once
Yes.
they understand that, then they are pretty easily convinced that this is the way to go.
No, that totally makes sense. You show them why it works and then go from there. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. So Taimoor, we're kind of bumping up on time here, but I did want to ask you one more question before we sign off. What are you the most excited about in pre-construction in like the next 2-3 years? What's coming up that maybe hasn't been fully fleshed out that you're really looking forward to?
So one of the things with me is that I never get settled on one technology. I always like to see it improving, developing, and that's why I always share my thoughts and ideas with Beck Technology, and they're so generous to always listen to my ideas and thoughts. And it's not only me, of course. They are in connection with a lot of other pre-construction professionals that provide them very valuable feedback on a daily basis. Um, so as the technology is growing, the companies who are based on technology, they have to keep innovating. So it's not only the users who have to catch up on the innovation of the change, but also the companies that, the software companies, they have to keep innovating too. Because there's every month or 2 months, we see something new in the industry. And also the one other thing that I have noticed that now more and more software companies are looking more for integration. So if it's from your accounting software to your project management software, how you share the information seamlessly. 'Cause that cuts out a lot of time in that process too, not only from estimating point of view, but overall project life cycle. So again, that's where I see the improvements coming up, and how the 3D models, or the 2D models and everything, all these technology improvements happen from the design side, and also how it's impacting the pre-construction too, and how we catch up with those changes. So again, the more changes you bring or keep improving, it's all about, you have to be better than a day before. So it's the same thing for software and technology too. So.
That's awesome, Taimoor. Well, thank you again for coming on here and having this discussion with us. Always a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank
For
you.
those of you online, do want to let you know to keep an eye out for our next upcoming webinar, which is going to be on June the 24th. It's going to be with Landon McQuestion from Balfour Beatty, and he is going to be talking about how to standardize pre-construction when you have teams scattered across a lot of offices. And he'll also be diving a little bit into managing remote pre-con teams. So be sure to sign up for that. We will be sending a recording of this webinar once it is over, and we will include the invite to Landon's webinar on June 24th with that as well. Thank you all again for being here with us today. We really do appreciate it, and we hope to see you next time. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.